And we're live. Here we are. Welcome to the transfer exchange. I should call this the exclusive exchange. Yeah, we get their first transfers. We put the transfers out first exchange. For Britzy who? That's what we should call it. No, I'm not disrespecting any other journalist. It's all love. We're all in the same game. But all I'm saying is we got the transfer out first. Yes, Jude Bellingham, right at the bottom. Jude Bellingham was first on the transfer exchange. We confirmed it at 11:59. We actually got it a little bit earlier than that, the news, but my tweeting hands are not quick enough. And we managed to get it at 11:59. The first person to confirm it after that got it out at 3 o'clock in the morning. All I'm saying is, if you're not first, you're last. Today, we have a big show today. We've got exclusives. I need to put some sound effects. We've got exclusives. Transfer updates.
Thinks he's Kenny Oyster.
It's uncanny, isn't it? Those noises, isn't it? They're all looking behind them now, going, "What's that? What was that?"
Now, sooner or later, we'll have pyrotechnics, just not in the house. Rented. All right. First of all, on the agenda, Sol Campbell. Will he get a new job? Over 500 Premier League appearances. Capped at national level from England under-15s to the senior team. 73 caps for England. He was captain of England. He's played in 6 major tournaments. Yet he started his managerial career at Macclesfield. And his second job was bottom of the league, Southend. Will Sol Campbell, one of England's best ever defenders, get a better job?
No.
Simon, what's going on?
I've done research on this because I wanted to find this out.
Go on, talk to me.
Basically, I've talked to people on Twitter with Southend and asked them, what was he like as a manager? Did you see anything different? Would you keep him, or are you gutted he's gone? Some of the fans with the poll, basically how I've done it, is where it's like 20% of them said, yeah, he did a good job, but he had no backing. And the rest of the people said he didn't have a clue. He said he knew what he wanted the players to do, but he couldn't come across how to do it. He says people said his man management wasn't as good. His substitutions, he didn't know what he was doing. He just brought someone on and brought someone off. He didn't change the game in any way. You know, in Arteta against Wolves, Kieran Tierney's just come back from an injury, hasn't he? And he's been on Traore all that first half.
Yeah.
He's only just come back from an injury. So what Arteta's done is took Tierney off and put Ainsley Maitland-Niles on there so he can keep the pressure on Traore and stop him basically from trying to make these runs and keep someone tight to him. Maitland-Niles did that fantastic, and Kieran Tierney did that fantastic. But Arteta knew Tierney wouldn't be able to last all the way through the game. That's the sort of changes I'm on about. With Sol Campbell, some of the fans were saying that they'd rather get someone like, how did he say it now? When you put Sol Campbell and Tony Adams together as managers, they're both fantastic players, leaders, fantastic for England, but when it comes to being a manager, they haven't got what it takes. That's what he said to me.
But how much would you put that down to the actual situation it was in? We're talking about a club that...
I never watched Southend, so I'm going on what their fans basically said.
That to be fair, Si, that's not a bad poll. It's a great idea. Like, polls are not a bad thing because it gauges what the actual fan base were feeling. But what I will put is this is someone who got Macclesfield out of the situation and left there in a better state, as in the way that football team is running. The money situation was the problem. They were in administration. It was a mess. And Southampton was not far off of that either. Southend was not far off that either. I just wonder, how are them roles not there for a kind of specific manager? Someone who's more experienced, of trying to get these teams out of relegation zone, as opposed to a new manager. You've put him in 2 jobs where he's on a relegation zone. Steve, do you feel that there's hope for Sol Campbell getting a better job out there?
He's a good player though, weren't he?
Yeah, he was all right.
It was all right. Well, I was speaking to a friend of ours in Scotland, not the one you might think it was, but there's a vacant job at Dundee, and he was asked along, and he refused to go, which I thought was a bit of a surprise because Dundee United are quite a big club. From that, I took from it that he wants something bigger than what he is at the moment. Hopefully, whoever it is, he gets to remember the name who it is, and it's so funny because when he was at Southampton, he in an interview he called Southampton, which is exactly what you just did, Kieran.
Yeah.
Which is like absolutely.
It's a no-no.
It's a no-no, but he did do well at Macclesfield.
Yeah.
He done an unbelievable job at Macclesfield. He literally done wonders there. Eventually, at mutual consent, he left because he felt he needed a better job. I feel he should have stayed there. And he had a absolute disaster at Southend, and again they left by mutual consent. What I think he's looking for the bigger job, of which he's not there yet, and he's going too fast. At the moment, I think he should be going to somewhere where he could be a coach, work as number 2 under someone, maybe as a top championship club. Because I think he's just Sol's going a bit too fast at the moment. He's not going to get a Premiership job. He's not going to get a top job in the Championship at the minute.
Yeah.
I think a mistake if he goes abroad, just like Gary Neville did. He made a rick of it. I think he should get a coaching job, and gradually move himself into it. I just think he's going a bit too fast.
Yeah, I mean the one at Macclesfield. How much was that down to the fact that he wasn't getting paid? Because he went into this second season, I believe, at Macclesfield, and they ended up with, I think 38 points. I think Macclesfield got, and they stayed up. 48 points. They stayed up in the next season, and 20 of them points they gained through Sol Campbell being the manager.
Yeah, he done well.
And that's the majority of those points were kept up. But as you were saying, he felt that he should have got a better job, should have got more job offers. Yeah. It's a tough one. I feel I think that's not far off the right thing. Look at how a lot of managers are applying their trade at first, coming in as a second job as an assistant manager in a Championship club or a Premier League club, and then when that manager leaves, then there's usually an opportunity for them. Matt Slater of the Athletic actually wrote a really good piece on it. He's a Macclesfield fan himself, so he saw it from that point of view, and he was one who was very sad to see him leave. So I advise people to go and check out Matt Slater's piece in the Athletic. It's a very good piece on how he actually did from a Macclesfield fan's view. So hopefully we will see the legend himself, Sol Campbell, in a job sooner rather than later, because I honestly feel that he's got a lot to offer, and I think that when you've got players who have been such pivotal figures in the game, they should probably remain in it in some way, shape, or form, even if it's not management. Next up. Oh, next up. Burnley takeover interest. Burnley, humble club, humble manager. Oh, Sean Dyche and his husky voice. I'm sure it sends crazy. There's interest of a takeover at Burnley, but how can these clubs handle the big money if they get it? What is the interest in the Burnley takeover, Steve? How far is it? What's the interest and where's it coming from?
Well, the Burnley takeover. I mean, I don't think it's been done yet, is it?
No,
Has it actually been done? It's not been done yet, is it?
No, I just think it's at the moment.
It's very sort of early days, isn't it?
Mhm.
Burnley. Anybody who puts money into Burnley is not, no disrespect towards any Burnley supporters that are watching are taking a big risk.
Oh yeah.
I think they are. I mean, I was looking into the Burnley thing, and the first thing that come across is that Burnley, as a lot of Premiership clubs at the moment, owe a lot of money. They're in a lot of debt. So the first part of that is the reason why they want the takeover is so that the people who are in it at the moment, they just want to get out, and the other people can come in with the money to make their debts better. And then afterwards, which fans want, but fans want transfers. They want new players, but that's not what's going to happen at Burnley. Burnley need help in other areas at the moment.
Yeah,
and Burnley are one different structure. Burnley are one of these clubs. The reason why I say it's a risk to take over clubs like Burnley and put a lot of money into them, because they're one of these clubs that could be doing good 1 minute and be like 9th, 10th in the table, and then relegated the next. And then they end up in a worse state than they was in the first place, when they should have just kept with the system that they was going with. So I feel it's a risk. The money's going all to other areas, not to transfers. That may be the job. That may be what is needed. But Sean Dyche wants transfers. How much of that will go to transfers, I don't know. But for me, with clubs like Burnley, they're a big risk, because they can be flying high 1 minute, and then the next minute they could be sitting in the Championship or possibly even a league lower. So big risk for people who are putting money into clubs like Burnley.
Simon, how do you think Sean Dyche would handle a big budget, a big transfer budget?
I think with Burnley takeover, I don't think they're bothered about money and spending it on nice players. I think they're more bothered about stability.
Yeah.
The way you see the Premier League coming, Newcastle with their takeover, you've got Sheffield United, we'll come on to that later. You've got other stuff as well, like Tottenham paying for their stadium. You've got them top 4 and top 6, they're not getting touched at all. They need stability. Look at Bournemouth. Bournemouth, I think, since they've been in the Premier League, have spent over, I think it's 500 million since they've been in. It's crazy, but that's what I mean.
On what?
When your players, your agent fees, and all that sort of stuff, something like that. That's what I mean. I couldn't believe it when I read it. But that's what they've spent since they've been here. And look at them. They're pretty much fighting to stay in the Premier League. Fair enough, they'll go down to the Championship and they'll look to bounce back and these parachute payments. But they can only last so much.
Yeah.
And it's not stability. I think what Burnley wants, and the fans probably want, is just an owner to come in, not just throw money left, right and centre, but just get a few players that are not expensive but are hard workhorses, and just give them stability. Make it feel like, right, fair enough, if we'll try and push for the top 8, but if we can't get there, at least we know we're safe in the Premier League. That's what I like. Leeds, look at Leeds when they went. Yeah. They're only just this minute now coming back. Because they're definitely coming up next season. I've got no two ways about it.
And that's taken, how long has it taken Leeds to come back?
Oh, God.
Jermaine Pennant hadn't even left Arsenal. Jermaine Pennant hadn't even left Arsenal when Leeds first went down. That was
2008.
I think that was
lesser than that.
Yeah, I think that was their first. That was one of their first loans. Was Jermaine Pennant.
2006, I'm guessing.
Yeah, was it Eddie Gray they had as their manager at the time?
Eddie Gray.
Yeah, it was just a mess. But we will touch on the Sheffield Wednesday thing here now, because one thing that Steve was talking about was was Sheffield United. Sorry, oh, God, faux pas. One thing that Steve's touched on was Burnley need to put money into infrastructure. So it's one place where money won't be going. Really, is on transfers. But one thing I did read into on Sheffield United, was that the Prince Abdullah, the chairman, has just recently, 3 days ago, brought back the training ground, the youth academy. He's brought back Bramall Lane Stadium, and he's also brought back the hotel and enterprises around the stadium. He's looking to build up there. He's promised to invest 200 million in the club itself, and his message was the other day was unexpected challenges with the COVID, but our original strategy of bringing the stadium, other properties under our own ownership, and the club stepping forward, is exciting time. We will continue with our original strategy. We now move forward to capitalise on that. This is the most important side to establish the Blades in the Premier League, and we have more good news coming soon. There are a few noises coming around that Sheffield United will have some money to spend in the summer, and we do. One of our scouts over here has a couple of names that have been bandied about as potential transfer targets. When you were speaking to me about the other day, Simon, it kind of, the names it was coming out with, they felt like the kind of players that Chris Wilder would be buying.
Yep.
Which then, when you do think about it, because you've seen it before, when managers do well when they've got money, managers do well when they haven't got that money, but as soon as they got money, they kind of just lose their focus and they go elsewhere. But just name a couple of players that Sheffield United have been rumoured to be on their transfer list in the summer.
Well, first thing I want to do basically is to every single Sheffield United supporter, if you're watching this, sorry, and I had you locked down basically as fighting relegation, and I did not see what you were going to do this season. I had no idea what Sheffield United were going to do this season, so props to them, and props to Chris Wilder as well, because it's probably up there with Jamie Vardy as one of the most greatest stories in football ever. It is, for where he's come as a manager and what he's doing now, and the fact he's getting backed with 200 million to spend. Sorry, Wednesday, you're going to have to sit and enjoy it. Hate this, because they're going to love it. They've been, with the contact that I've been talking to, is close to Sheffield United, very close to Sheffield United. And he's told me a few names that they've been interested in. They're looking at 3 players from Norwich. They're looking at Max Aarons. They're looking at Todd Cantwell. And they're looking at, what's that centre-back's name? Goffrey. And they're looking at Goffrey. Then, after a few more days, did some more talking with this person. He pulled out Ross Barkley, which makes perfect sense when you think what Chelsea are doing with their midfield. And then he brought out Everton's Gylfi Sigurdsson. Now, for me, Sigurdsson and Ross Barkley in the same midfield for Sheffield United, along with Fleck, that's brilliant. That is a fantastic. Then you've got Todd Cantwell, who would possibly be moved to the number 10, because he's that sort of kind of creator, add goals. Mm-hmm. And then Goffrey as well, because if Norwich, it's nasty saying it, but when they go down, they are going to get picked apart, their squad. But they know it. Norwich know it, because mm-hmm. BT highlighted this against Brighton, where Norwich know they're going down, but they're already doing stuff behind the scenes, focused on the Championship to come straight back up. And that's what I mean by parachute payments. But with Sheffield United, I can see them doing some really good business this transfer window. And it's going to be the sort of stuff where people are going to be like, where's this coming from? Where's this coming from? That's what I mean.
Yeah, and as you said, the list of names there that Simon's pulled out is not. We're not talking about Sheffield United are going to sign everyone. Like, people have lists. They have first choice, second choice, third. That's how it works. So when you hear names, not everyone's going to be buying them players, but these are the names that we found out that are on that transfer list. There was also a couple of links. I think there was Emmanuelle Dennis, was it?
Yep.
Was another name that was linked, which again rings true because they need a striker, they need a goal scorer. What you probably do need to look into the current situation with the coronavirus. Everyone's struggling, but for FFP and anything like that, clubs this year just have to go break even. Remember this: from next year, your 2 years will be counted as one period. So you don't have to break even for 2 seasons. Also, as I mentioned there, and a very important thing that Chairman has done is buying back the training ground, buying back the ground, and buying back all these other facilities. Because as I mentioned before, what you can also do with FFP, if you get a new sponsorship for your new training ground, new academy, you get sponsorship or a deal for any of this other stuff, you can say that COVID ruined that deal and these were the potential money that you was going to bring in. That is also a thing that you can do. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of these clubs doing that. So that move to buy back your ground, extremely important. That move to buy back your training ground is very important. And let's remember, Sheffield United are owned by a Saudi. They have money. So anyone who's cash rich will be okay in this situation. I'm not saying people are going to be spending ludicrous amounts of money, but I just feel like it's not going to be as bad as what people first thought. And next up, this is a big one for me. AC Milan. Could AC Milan be going back to the classic team, the big guns that we used to love? Like the names of Van Basten, Ruud Gullit. These types of names running through the team. Shevchenko.
Ronaldinho.
Ronaldo. They were over the hill by then. They were nearly done by then. Big changes are happening at AC Milan. From top to bottom. Maldini gone. The old hierarchy is getting absolutely chopped up and started again. And Ralf Rangnick is in charge. Oh, he's going to be in charge soon. But he's not just the man in charge. He's going to be the man at the top and the bottom. So, is this potentially AC Milan coming back to their best? Who wants to go first? Who's got this one?
No.
Simon loves his
I don't, because I'm going on past experience with Arsene Wenger having his whole hand in the pie rather than just a finger.
That's only because you're going with Ivan Gazidis being there. That's why.
No, I'm not going to mention Ivan Gazidis, even though it's a absolutely
nightmare. And Arsene Wenger isn't.
No, but what I mean, like, when Arsene Wenger, obviously, he was in charge of the squad, how much a player should be on for wages, how much this player should be worth. We're not going higher than this. We're not going higher than that. Look at Arsenal, since Arsene Wenger's no longer being here with the new recruitment team. Arteta only has to concentrate on the squad, but he picks his names out to the board, not names, but positions, what he wants. He'll identify what players he wants, and then the recruitment team go out and get what he wants. For AC Milan, it's going to take so much concentration away from the squad. He's not going to be 100% committed to the squad because they're going to be bringing players in and he's going to be missing tricks left, right and centre. It's what Wenger did with training and stuff like that. It wasn't 100% with training, and sometimes you could see it in games, but it was more concentrated what was happening off the pitch.
But surely that's more about getting the right team around you, is it not?
Well, that's if he's wanting the right team around him. Technically, if he's wanting to be judge, execution and jury and all that, he wants to be everything. then he's not going to be bothered about a team around him because he wants to have full control of the club. He wants to know what's happening everywhere.
It's funny you say that. Because that was one of his quotes. He wanted full control. Steve, before I go into my bit, go on. What do you think? Talk to me.
This is AC Milan. This is one of the
well,
biggest
that's it. Let's go.
No. I get what you're saying. It's not going to happen overnight.
Uh-huh.
But I genuinely think that looking at where they are and what they're putting into place, I think eventually we'll get there. I don't think Gazidis is going to be there for very long because the way he's treating his staff is disgraceful. Very similar to way he treated his staff at Arsenal. He's Maldini obviously has got the bullet, which fair enough. That happens in football.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's trying to treat him as like a puppet, which I don't like. I mean, this guy is a AC Milan footballing world legend. And I think from what I've seen, the way he's been treating him, the statements that he's been talking about him, I think it's an absolute disgrace.
Is this Ivan Gazidis?
Yeah, if I was,
could you just tell the viewers what has happened there, because they might not know what's been said by Ivan Gazidis.
Well, they've told him that they don't want him to be the sporting director anymore because obviously Ralf Rangnick's come in to be a manager and sporting director.
Mm-hmm.
So they basically said that we want you out.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's all of a sudden he's saying to him, well, we might need you. We might need you to do a few bits of jobs, like he's like an housekeeper. I mean, this is Maldini we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I ain't Maldini's keeper. But if I was Maldini, I'd be out now and I'd be telling him to go and do one. I mean, look, this is football. Maldini, no matter what. Ralf Rangnick is an excellent manager, and he's a very, very, very intelligent person.
Yeah.
And he has basically said he'll come in and he'll do well. It might take time. He don't want to get. He wants Maldini. He's got a plan for AC Milan ahead. Not now. Like they won't do it now. Like Simon said, they won't do it now. But for the future, he's got a plan, and he wants Maldini in with this because he recognises Paolo Maldini, right?
Yeah.
Ralf wants them to be behind the scene. He wants them to get involved with the youth. He wants them to get into, because obviously this guy's a legend. He'd be an ambassador. Why in God dames would you want Paolo Maldini, the biggest thing that's ever in AC Milan's history, player? You'd want him stapled to the wall of that club. But Gazidis has come in and said, "Oh no, you just go well." But Ralf Rangnick has came in and said, "Well, no, hold on a minute. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want Maldini here because I want him to run this."
Yeah.
But now you've got this big ruction between Gazidis and Rangnick.
Yeah.
And you just look at the two people. And you look at Gazidis and you think you're an idiot. And you look at Ralf Rangnick and you think, look, you're looking at the best for AC Milan's future.
Yeah.
It's just baffling to me.
Yeah, I think I can understand Simon's worries, but this Rangnick is a guy who has been in a situation where he's a Red Bull man through and through. He's been at Red Bull Leipzig. He's been at Leipzig. He's seen the system there. He's seen the director of football system. He's seen the managers in the managering. I just feel like this guy wants to take control so he can completely restructure it. He doesn't want obstacles in his way. He doesn't want someone saying, "Oh, I don't like the new things." He wants it in there. So potentially in the long run, he might not even be manager. He might even be director of football. He might be the manager and get another director of football. But what he wants now is to have full control so he can say where and what goes, because it's quite evident that whatever's going on at AC Milan has not been working for the last 15 years, 20 years.
But he still recognises that getting rid of someone like Paolo Maldini and telling him to go and do one.
Yeah,
he's gone. Hold on a minute, come on, this is ridiculous.
And that shows what this man's about, because Maldini wasn't happy with Rangnick and the way he was acting, because he said that because he was asked about by Bild, the German, very reputable German newspaper, and he was asked about the AC Milan job, and he said, yes, they've approached me. Maldini didn't like the fact that you're speaking about a job where someone else is already in the job. And he said you need to show some respect, and that's the kind of respect that you should be looking to give to these kind of people. It's a different world. You've got Germany. They're very honest. They're very honest with their views, and they say it how it is, and that's how it is in Germany. Italy's a completely different question. There's a level of respect you've got to hold, and I understand what Maldini's talking about. I completely do. I personally think it's good things for AC Milan. Already they're talking about bringing in Dominic Sabitzer. Got it right. Werder Bremen's Rashica, who's got a year left on his contract with Werder Bremen, and obviously them going down, well, potentially. He's one that could be looking to bring in as well. They're also looking at Pierre Calulu and Martin Odegaard from Real Madrid. So he's got a plan set out. And if you look at the type of player, it feels like, again, it's the type of player that RB likes to bring in. Young players, start again. Build a model where you may have to sell that player, but you've already got one coming in. If they can build that sort of thing and they can bring through their youngsters and youth, AC Milan in a few years' time, 5, 10 years' time, whatever, can be fighting for that top league trophy again. And not just because they've spent 100 million here and 100 million there. It's because it's done through the right way. And that's the thing. I think that's what AC Milan need to get back to. Doing things the right way. What has happened to Antoine Griezmann? This guy was regarded as one of the best strikers or forwards on the planet. Everyone was doing his celebration after the World Cup. He was the man. He went to Barcelona and it's just slowly fizzled out, mate. What has happened to Antoine Griezmann? Is he not the man we thought he was? Is it just a bit of form? Is he realised that he can't be the guy? He can't handle the pressure? Steve, talk to me. What's happened to Griezmann?
It's one of the mysteries at the moment, isn't it? What's happened to Antoine Griezmann? One of the best players on the planet. Just a year ago, 2 years ago, 200 goals in his career. It just seems to be another Barcelona player, along with Coutinho and Dembele, who's cost over £100 million. That's for some reason have failed, or hasn't, or just don't like the way Barcelona have run, and you're beginning to see that a lot recently. It's like he's came from Atletico Madrid. He's like one of the best players in the world at the time. You know, everybody wanted him, and now he's lucky if he gets on the pitch.
It's not even as he was at a small club. He won at a small club before. He's at Atletico Madrid. No. So it's not like he shouldn't be able to handle that kind of pressure. You've won a World Cup.
I think it's the way he's treated. I mean, he scored 8 goals in 26 appearances at the moment for Barcelona, and he's just failed massively to live up to expectations. And I don't believe it's all him. I don't think it's his fault. Barcelona play this fast, ticky-tacky football, and it just don't suit his game. I mean, remember where he's come from.
Yeah.
I mean, he's come from a side who are the absolute opposite of ticky-tacky football.
Yeah.
With Atletico Madrid, it's the absolute parallel opposites.
Yeah.
He needs to get away, just like Dembele does.
Yeah.
Just like Coutinho does. But then Barcelona, we know the way they treat him. You know, who's going to pay his wages? There's the price tag. What will Barcelona want for him? And there's no feeling sorry for any player at Barcelona. There's not. Yeah. And he's just another one of these players who are just, just dangling on the bandwagon. But I think it's all going to come back to it, Barcelona in the arse in the end, because it's building up and building up. We spoke about it last week on the show, the trouble that they're in.
Yeah. They've not got the money to keep up with the wages. So you've got to stop buying these superstar players that are not going to fit your system. You can't have a strike force of Suarez, Messi, and whoever's going to be one of them three, and still have Coutinho on the wage bracket, Osimhen Dembele on the wage bracket, Griezmann on the wage bracket. That's madness. That is lunacy. You can't live like that. Simon, is there any way back for Antoine Griezmann?
There's a way back for him, yeah, but I won't put it all down to Griezmann's fault, basically. Mm-hmm. From Atletico to Barcelona, there's no difference whatsoever. It's like, there's massive difference, so it's like night and day. Yeah. It's gone from a good team to the elite team. But I said it once, and I said it twice, and I'll say it for a third time. It's Alexis Sanchez 2.0. It's Alexis Sanchez. It's Alexis Sanchez 2.0. Because when he went to Man United, where was the help for Alexis? Yeah. Where was the chemistry between him and Paul Pogba? This is why Paul Pogba is more suited at Man United, because he's not the go-to guy. Now Bruno's there. Bruno's the one that does everything. Pogba just looks good. So if Pogba goes to Barcelona and he doesn't get on with anyone, he's just going to look like an absolute waste of money and a waste of time. So when you take Ozil and Sanchez together, soon as you took Ozil away from Alexis, he dropped. And that's the same thing with Griezmann. He hasn't got the connection with Lionel Messi. Yeah. If he has the connection with Messi and with the other players, then he'd be an absolute world beater. And
that's the thing. There was accusations early doors that Messi and Griezmann didn't get along, but then that was put to bed. But it's starting to ring true with that kind of. It seems very cliquey. If you don't get on like a house on fire with them, you're not going to fit in. If you're not Neymar, you're not that guy. It's almost as if they're waiting for the transfer day. The guy walks through the door. It's not Neymar, and they're like, "Oh, this is again." And that's what it's like. You had Coutinho in there; he wasn't good enough. And Reyes, a very respectable football fan, he knows his stuff, and he said Coutinho wasn't a bad player. He just wasn't Neymar, and that's not fair. Because you're talking about a generational talent. Like you just can't compare these people to someone like Neymar. Like you can't. It's like Monaco haven't replaced Mbappe, but I'm surprised. I'm not surprised they haven't replaced Mbappe, because they're one of a kind. They come every 10 years, so it's madness. But Antoine Griezmann, you'll learn, and if you ain't, you're going to learn today, and the next person needs to learn as well that it's about the right move. Not always.
What did Barcelona do with that? What did they do with them? They got Coutinho and Dembele, and now they got Griezmann.
But Barcelona,
has anyone noticed since Ralf Rangnick came to us, they went downhill with recruitment, and they went downhill with basically structure. What Ralf Rangnick did at Barcelona.
I don't know, but there's a lot of problems with Barcelona from top to bottom.
Massively. But look at Arsenal's recruitment now. It's not like, I'm not saying it's amazing, but it's better than what it were. And that's down to Ralf Rangnick.
Well, I'm going to try and get Reyes on. We're going to try and get a Spanish expert on, because I think the Barcelona thing is such a big topic. It deserves a whole episode. We've got what players are going to leave, what players are going to come in, because undoubtedly when you're dealing with Barcelona, you're talking about superstars coming in. Also, we want to talk about when the big changes. When's Xavi going to come in? When's Piqué going to retire and go to the top? All these things are happening, which just when. There's a lot of stuff, and we're going to do a Barcelona special soon. So wait and check that out. Next up. This is Steve. You're going to see a smile on Steve's face here. It's the golden boy, top 100. Let's see how they're getting on. It's the progression time. It's the new player watch. It's the golden boy player watch. Here we go. Here we go.
It's my babies.
You're so excited. Yeah, let you go first.
I've got a little bit of work to do. Funny enough, with
we got three to go through today, and Steve's got 3 gems. What you got?
The amount of shuffling you've been doing, I'm expecting 99 bits of paper.
We've got 20 minutes of the original time of the show. 20 minutes original time. We've also got to fit the roundup in. That sounded like you was going through the yellow pages there when I heard some rustling. I'm a little bit worried. Should I get a blanket?
No, you're all right. I'll go through it quick.
All right, let's
go through it very quickly.
Tell us, go on.
All right, first one is somebody who plays in the Belgium league. His name is called Lyle Foster. He's 19 years old. He's from Monaco. He's South African. He's a centre forward. Now, Lyle's a bit different to some of the other kids that are in our Wonder Boy Awards, and I'm going to tell you why. He's yet to score for Monaco, Lyle, and he's only scored 1 goal in Bruges, where he's out on loan at the moment from Monaco. The Guardian newspaper named him one of the 60th best players in world football of his age. Now, after what I've just said to you, you're thinking, well, what's happening there? How did he get in that? But he's young, but he's got time to work. But what he is, he's South African. He plays in a very difficult league, and they don't treat their players very well in South Africa. I've had a couple of chats with our friends that serve the shows, and what this kid is, he has got something very, very special, but he's just so behind the rest. As I say, he's made his way to Monaco, and for a South African player, I just want people to understand, for a South African player to get to Europe and to play for Monaco and to get in their first team is an amazing and incredible experience, and the kid needs a big round of applause for that. So he deserves to be in this Wonder Boy Awards just for that reason. So that's Lyle Foster. Then you've got Brian Sevilataria. He's on loan from Seville at the Gans. He's a 19-year-old Spaniard midfielder. He's definitely one to keep your eye on, this kid. He's very quick. He loves the tricks. He shows a lot of confidence on the pitch. He reminds me of a lot of Thomas Rosicky. He's got that really bad haircut as well, like Thomas Rosicky had. So that made it even more so. He always seems to got defenders around him. More often than not, he wriggles his way out of them. He's just extended his contract to 2022, so he won't be going nowhere this winter. He's very, very highly thought of. So keep your eye out for Brian Satario. Next one is final one is Diego Lainez.
This
go and have a look at him.
Yeah.
Go and have a look at him, people. Ajax wanted him, Roma wanted him, Leipzig wanted him, Monaco wanted him. Mexican footballer. In the end, Real Betis was the team that got him. Real Betis are a team that's going somewhere. I'm telling you, they're picking up some unbelievable players.
Yeah.
He joined them in 2019 from Club America. He was one of the most outstanding young players that's been produced from Mexico in the last 10 years. He's a left-footed player, mostly plays on the left-hand side as well, remarkably versatile. And he has this ability to go past player with this almost like this drunken running style. I mean, any Arsenal supporters, if you remember Paul Merson, or he had that drunken running stuff, and you imagine that.
Because he probably exactly was drunk.
What I'm talking about. He probably was. Lainez first played for Mexico when he was 18 at the Tourlon tournament, and he bashed it up. He absolutely lit the tournament up, and become man of the tournament from his performances. He's subsequently from it. He's still having all these clubs look at him, but he's quite happy to be at Real Betis. They're building something special, and this kid Diogo Lainez is going to be part of it. Believe me.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
Thank you very much, Steve. I'm sure there'll be people. Again, like I said, don't do it now. I don't want to see this number of people watching right now go down. Like, save till afterwards, and we'll make sure we do a little video for it. You know what I mean? One of our little jazzy little 2-minute videos on Diego Lainez as well. Simon, who have you got? What's your three?
I need some help with the pronunciation for this one. Yeah. The one that I'm terrible at this. Just get used to it. The one that begins with an F. The one that begins with an F.
Is it past 10 o'clock?
All right. Facundo Colido.
There you go. Him.
There we go.
There, that one.
From Sint-Truiden on Belgium.
I'm about to say, in all fairness, though, I've never heard of this player in my life. I've never even heard of the team he's played for. But the props that this kid gets as well, I've actually not had to go right into it, but just take a few little things out. Basically, when he started for the under-16s, Kevin De Bruyne himself recommended him. So that's one that I found.
Wow.
The scout that found Eden Hazard when he was in France, he's the same scout that's been watching him for the past 3 years. What else were there? There's a few bids that have gone in for him already. Leeds United, who could be coming back to the Premier League this season, have put an 8.5 million bid in for him.
Oh, when was this?
When was this one? I got about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, interesting.
About 2 weeks ago. And then this topped it even more. Newcastle United have scouted the kid, apparently, from the age of 10, and they put a 12.5 million bid.
So he's an actual player. He's a player, and he could be going to the Premier League. It looks like he's destined for the Premier League.
Yeah, he's definitely well known in Belgium. To say he's only a kid as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, the props that he gets from the manager as well, just never shies away from like a tackle.
Yeah.
He's a leader as well on the pitch. His team were 3-0 down at half time to the top of the league, and then within second half, apparently he did some sort of a speech in changing room or something like that. Galvanised the squad. They came back out. They won the game 4-3. It's mental, isn't it? It's crazy. It's been compared to having the attitude of a Paul Pogba at Juventus. That's what his own manager said about him.
Is that good or bad?
No idea. And then he's go look at Pogba's Juventus career. That'll tell me. And he's got 2 loan offers. He's got a loan for 2 years from AS Monaco, and then he's got another one from Shakhtar Donetsk. So I think he's nailed on for Premier League. It could be Leeds United.
Shakhtar, Shakhtar, Ukraine. Don't know about that. Don't know about Ukraine, mate. It's not the way forward. Don't go there. Come to the Premier.
Cold there, isn't it?
Too cold.
Too cold, man.
Too bloody
Don't
cold.
like the cold.
Don't like the cold.
I tell you.
Who you got next time?
Next one was it? The one from AZ.
Myron Badu. Oh, what a player.
That's the one.
What a player.
Yes.
This player, definitely. This player from the age of 10 to 11 was being watched by Robin van Persie himself. He's been recommended to Manchester United when 2 years ago. They've also scouted him.
Yeah.
And then Man United were going to sign him. Man United were going to sign him when they were 15 years old, basically. And then he picked up an injury. He picked up a double muscle injury on the left thigh.
The really bad one, didn't it?
Didn't it detach from his from the bone or something? It was a really bad
something
one.
really bad.
Yeah.
And then really bad. But then this is what shocked me more. AZ actually put him up basically for transfer and tried to get him off the books because they thought he wouldn't be able to come back from it. Robin van Persie, that's what I mean. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Robin van Persie is the one that convinced AZ to keep hold of him and basically promised them that they would not regret it, and he's flourishing now. And then Manchester United are still interested in signing the kid, but they're going to wait till he's 21, maybe something like that. See what he does. He's got offers. He's got offers from AC Milan on a 2-year loan. Inter Milan want to sign him, and have offered him a 5-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also got interest from us, Arsenal.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Marwan Badu, he's an exceptional talent, and in my eyes, it probably does need another season or two to stay in Holland.
With Arsenal, it was a bit of a twist though, because it was Unai Emery that wanted him.
Yeah, I mean, it probably would have been a better idea for Unai Emery to follow through with it. But as I was just saying, Marwan Badu is someone who I would like to see play in Holland for another couple of seasons or a season at least.
Yeah. Alkmaar's a good place to be as well.
A very good place. Calvin Stengs as well. They've got some very good players, and they've had players that have come through as well and gone on to better things. So I think as we've seen previously, it's not always about bringing them players over to these clubs early as possible. Sometimes it's better just to carry on the development of the club they're at. Simon, what's your last one?
No, they're the only two that I've got at the minute. I've done most of the research with Sheffield United.
Cool.
Thing.
No worries. Okay, my three today. First of all, you all know who he is. His name's Gabriel Martinelli. He's just signed a new long-term deal with Arsenal. Rumoured to be around as a 5-year deal, isn't it, Simon? On around
5-year deal.
Around 40 grand a week, pretty much a similar contract to Saka. The guy's gone from strength to strength since he's been at Arsenal. He came in for £6 million. Most people expected him to start off in the under-23s. He's come in. He's been exceptional, and he's not just grown. He's grown as physically, and as a player, I expect big things of him as long as he carries on his development. Obviously, no links there. Next up, Jonathan David. This guy has been linked to Arsenal, Tottenham, most recently Aston Villa. He's just opened up talks with Lille over a potential transfer. For this one, I think Jonathan David needs to move. He needs to go out and he needs to progress from the Belgium league. In that league, he's scored 23 goals, got 10 assists in 40 games. And the season before, it wasn't a fluke because he's done previous the season before. He's a very good player, very raw, very quick. He reminds me of it plays a little bit like Sergio Aguero, but a very raw version. He likes to drop in deep, pull off the shoulder of the last man, and he's just a goal scorer. So expect big things from him. You'll be hearing about him in a year or two. My last one is Riccardo Calafiori, highly regarded in Italy. He's a full-back that can play centre-back. He can play right-back, left-back, centre-back. And as Simon said, if you saw the dispute the other day, that's very rare. He's highly regarded in Italy to the point where he's had a really, really bad injury, but people are still putting in everything they can do to get the best out of this kid because they see him as a future star. Even the likes of Juventus are trying to prize him away from Roma, and with Roma in the current situation, they look like they may have to sell one of their best young assets. So that remains to be seen. But check out the latest dispute where Simon did something on Riccardo Calafiori. and he just gives us tells us what it's about. So go and check that out because he's a really good player.
And I'm burying the ball in the back of the net on this week's dispute.
Oh yeah. No, I don't know if you saw Steve. Steve had a trial which he filmed in his back garden. He was hoping to send that around to the transfer exchange so that we could play it on here and maybe a scout could pick him up. Not bloody likely. Next week, people, it's going to be the Brit one. So it's going to be Golden Boy Brit Awards. Well, not Brit Awards, but you know what I mean. It's that time again. It's the transfer roundup. Last week, the roundup was ridiculous, but now it's about to get more ridiculous. Crazy. Okay, first up on the transfer roundup, Liverpool have just signed young midfielder Curtis Jones on a long-term deal. He's a very good player. We're going to be probably one of us is going to pick Curtis Jones next week for Golden Boy Awards. I really rate him. I've got high hopes for him, even if it's not a Liverpool. I think it won't be Liverpool, but I think it's going to be a name you're going to be hearing about in the Premier League. Definitely.
Scored today.
Did he score today? Adil Ochri has just signed for Saint Etienne. We broke that news the other day. He was recently released, very highly regarded youngster, actually held talks with Arsenal and a few other people. PSG wanted to keep him longer. You'll see in the paper, Mbappe actually turned around, even sent like a little Instagram that said, please stay, please sign a contract. He didn't, and he signed for Saint Etienne. Very highly regarded youngster. You'll be seeing a lot of him. Leroy Sane to Bayern Munich was finally done. 61 million euros, I think it was. But that potentially writes off any chance of Bayern Munich buying any big signings. That means Kai Havertz. That means Daya Upamecano. That means who else for Bayern Munich after? I think Bayern Munich were linked with every player possible, and it was getting on my nerves. Now they can't have anyone because they spent most of their budget on this guy here. Ajax coach Erik ten Hag has confirmed that agreements are in place for Donny van der Beek, Nicolas Tagliafico and Andre Einer, allowing them to leave this summer. Simon, was it you that told me that Donny van der Beek turned down Manchester United?
Yep, twice.
Twice? Wow.
This person that I've been speaking to, same person I was speaking about, Jadon Sancho, and just before, because Pep Guardiola's come out and squashed it, apparently. He's not actually squashed it. He's just said basically he's not heard anything from it. But now I can confirm City are out of the running for Sancho. The same person that's told me now has said that City was interested in him and that it all depended on Sane with his movement. But now City are going 100% for Leon Bailey.
Yeah, that's another one I was just about to put up. And
Sancho's got his heart set on Manchester United. He's already been looking at properties in Manchester and basically already wanting to move over. He's tried actually coming over before Bundesliga's even finished, but out of respect for Borussia Dortmund, who gave him his opportunity, he's staying till the end of the season. So yeah. I couldn't believe that. He actually wanted to leave Borussia Dortmund early to sign for United, to get it out of the way, to then just go and train with Man United. But out of respect, he's staying there.
And Steve, I think it was you that was saying that there is no way in hell's chance that Man United will be getting Jadon Sancho to do any dirty tactics and try and push for a move. It's Man United or Dortmund, and if they can't come up with the money, he's happy to stay at Dortmund. That was the case, wasn't it? Well,
today, the latest today on Jadon Sancho from two people that I've spoken to, Dortmund have sort of basically had enough of Man United, the way they're messing them about. Borussia have told Man United to stop putting these stories in the press
Mm.
Um,
Playing games, aren't they?
like, they're playing games. They don't like what they've said in the press about that. We're only going to give Dortmund only 50 million, or it's off.
It's insulting, isn't it? Come on,
they're absolutely. According to my sources, they are fuming over this.
Just jump in. How can you offer 50 million for what is regarded as one of the best wingers, or the best, forget wingers, best players in Europe at the moment? We're talking about stats-wise, yeah? We're talking about players that have come into maybe the England team, the international team, and hit the ground running. He's been tasked with maybe he can't do it in the Champions League. He did it in the Champions League. He's done it back-to-back seasons. And you're going to offer 50 million?
It's a disgrace. You know who I've spoken to. We had a conversation just before we came on tonight. You know what's happened. This is 100%. Dortmund are fuming. 50 million. We're not playing for him, or we don't want him. Well, basically, Dortmund has said, look, pay the 120, 130 million. You know, put up or shut up. You know, that was the German.
I wish you could have done it in German.
What it would mean in English.
I wish I wish it was German.
And they basically said, they basically said, if you don't want him, if you don't pay it, then just go away. They're literally fuming over it. And they've given them a deadline date of August the 10th. If you've not paid the 30 million by August the 10th, you can go do one, and he's staying at Dortmund. And there ain't no ifs, there's no buts, there's no Man City, like Simon said, there's no Liverpool, there's no Chelsea. He'll stay at Dortmund because he's quite happy there.
Yeah, there we go.
But they're fuming. They're absolutely fuming. I felt it off the person who was telling me, like they was getting fuming.
Not being funny, Steve, but when I saw that, it was a little bit annoying for me, because I thought to myself, you're not even playing the game well. You can't just get the transfer fee and slash it in half and go, yeah, we're going to pay half for him. It's like you're dealing with Borussia Dortmund. Like you're not dealing with a small club here. It's Borussia Dortmund. No. Like they got how much for Dembele? Did they want to sell Dembele? Yeah. And did Dembele want to go? He wanted to go. I'm sure Dembele was on strike.
But you said that they've said, like, they've had a meeting, right? This is what they've done. They've had a meeting. They've met. They've had talks, and they're having talks about 120, 30 million. So they've gone away with had good conversations, yeah. And then they've obviously then it will lead on to a second, yeah. But as soon as it's gone back, they're hearing that we're only going to give 50, like giving it the big one in the if we don't, they don't give it to us, and it's really got to them. Yeah. It's really, really got to them. And this was in the German Sunday papers, and it's not like our papers where the Sunday papers all it gets a bit put anything in.
Yeah.
If you see anything in the Sunday papers, people, come to us before you get excited about it. But yeah, that's the Jadon Sancho.
There's another bit of insight, a Jadon Sancho update, exclusive again on the Transfer Exchange Show Transfer Roundup. And next up, another breath. Chelsea have restarted talks with Brazilian winger Willian. What the hell was that? Simon, this is the third round of talks, isn't it, with Willian? And he turned down 2 contracts, didn't he? And this third one is potentially for a 3-year deal on 150 grand a week, I think you were saying.
Yeah, he's turned two down already because he wants either a 2 or a 3-year contract. Chelsea are only prepared to give him a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
So he basically is holding out. Tottenham have been blown out of the water. They can't compete because of the wages that he's asking for. And with Tottenham actually trying to do smart business, they're trying their best to tie down Eric Dyer to a new deal. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to get that sorted. And then basically with Willian, he just wants to stay in London. But I can confirm that he has been in touch with Arsenal on 3 occasions, and Arteta has spoken to him once on a Zoom chat as well.
And the thing is, anyone that would have thought to themselves, William's here for a holiday. William just wants to go for a holiday. Oh, he's over the hill. He's past it. Please take in the performances that he's put in since they've come back from lockdown, because he has been one of Chelsea's best players. He's been brilliant. His energy, the ball that he puts in the box, it will seriously make you rethink if you was thinking about him not joining your club before. It would seriously make you rethink. And I think Chelsea are also in a situation where they're rethinking their deals as well. Next up was another one. We mentioned it last week or week before. I think Simon mentioned it. Koulibaly has told Napoli will be leaving this summer, and they're willing to let him go for £64 million. We've had an update on that one, and we can. I know that Simon mentioned it last week. It's definitely been confirmed by Steve. Steve, you got a bit of news the other day to confirm that the Koulibaly Man City have agreed a deal with Koulibaly's representatives. That's Koulibaly and Man City, not Man City and Napoli. Just to confirm.
Yeah, no, Simon was spot on last week. This week it's been confirmed that he's agreed personal terms with Man City, with Napoli. I heard 72, but what's 8 million between friends? You know what I mean? But Napoli are already looking for replacements. Yeah. The wheel's starting to turn for replacements. There's talks of Otamendi. There's talks of John Stones been thrown in there. The biggest one out of them all is Gabriel Magalhaes. Seems to be a big. That seems to be the main one that I'm seeing and that I'm hearing from people.
And they've offered him a deal as well. They've offered him a deal, but he wants more money. But that deal will get sorted. That deal will get sorted. Yeah.
Just moving into something else. That the Lille coach, or where Gabriel Magalhaes is at the moment, he's come out, quoted, and said, "I'm resigned to losing Magalhaes. He's going. He won't be playing for Lille no more." Mm-hmm. And also the same person is Osimhen. Osimhen will be leaving as well.
Yes,
100% he'll be leaving. Now, you just said a bit earlier that we haven't spoke about this, so this is the first time this has happened on the show. But you mentioned that someone was going to Napoli just now, a little while ago.
Magalhaes is going to Napoli. It's nearly there. They've offered him a contract.
Yeah. Was there a centre forward going there to Napoli?
Victor Osimhen is the other centre forward who's agreed a deal with Napoli, but he's holding out for Manchester United and Arsenal. That leads to my next story, not my next one, but I might as well jump to it. Is that one of the reasons why Lille have to sell is because they have to rake up 150 million euros very quickly. 110 million of that is going to come in from Victor Osimhen, Magalhaes, and who's the other player? I think it's I can't remember the other player, but Lille have to sell, and these are two players that are definitely going. So Victor Osimhen will be going this summer, and it just depends where. Napoli seems to be the one place that's given him an offer and a deal for Lille, but like I said, he's holding out for Man United or Arsenal. There's players already been in talks to centre forwards going to Lille already. Yeah, so it ties it up. Yeah, it does. I think one of the players, I can't remember, who was one of the players that Lille were looking to sign. I'm sure it'll be on my list.
Jonathan David.
Was it? I said it. I just said it, didn't I? Jonathan David. What am I talking about?
As soon as you said Jonathan David, my eyes went like that, and I thought, "Wow, he's going."
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. He's Jonathan David. This is what I said. It's the house chain. Jonathan David.
Yeah, I didn't even told you that today.
Yeah, Jonathan David is going to Lille, and Victor Osimhen is going to Napoli.
Yeah.
And if Napoli can't get Victor Osimhen, I don't know. But Lille have already brought on a replacement, so you ain't coming home, Victor. Next up, we have Axel Disasi set for a move to Monaco. We released that information on Wednesday, I think it was. It's still not common knowledge yet, but that deal is is essentially done deal.
I told you about that one.
Confirm that one. So that's another good one there. Chelsea's representatives have been in touch with Kai Havertz. Whether a deal can get done there, like we said, we know that Bayern Munich can't get Havertz. Real Madrid, are they gonna get Havertz this season? I doubt it. They've not got the money, and they've got other transfer targets already lined up, which they probably see as a priority. Also, Real Madrid wanted to buy Havertz and loan him back to Leverkusen. So it tells me that they didn't want him there and then, or didn't.
One thing I can confirm though, from the same person that told me about Axel Diassi, and I'm not going to say it on here, that person, but you know exactly who that person is. He actually told me how Chelsea haven't even started talks and haven't even inquired about Kai Havertz. It's paper talk.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Ah.
Even Fabrizio himself came out with a tweet saying that talks and discussions haven't even started. And then FC Bayern, I forgot his name now on Twitter, but he even confirmed it as true under Fabrizio's tweet. So Chelsea haven't even inquired about Kai Havertz. That started from the papers. And then they've run it out because Chelsea were doing all these deals, basically. But this person's told me that Havertz has got his heart set on Bayern Munich and he's willing to wait one more year until the summer of 2021 to go to Bayern. And they're willing to wait for him.
And it doesn't surprise me.
Makes sense.
It doesn't surprise me. Watford, Leeds and Celtic are interested in signing Croatian centre-back Bramir Kaloka of Benfica. Tottenham are keen on making a move for Napoli striker Milak. He ain't going there. Juventus are after him. It's very widely known that Juventus are pulling out the stops to get Milak in. Whether that will happen, I don't know. But from what I'm hearing, it's Juventus. There's the Victor Osimhen stories waiting for Man United and Arsenal. Here's another big one, another exclusive, people. Schalke and United States midfielder Weston McKennie wants to join the Premier League, and we can exclusively reveal that he has held talks with, drumroll please, Everton. Steve.
Yes, yes.
Please.
Yes, one of my number one contacts I talk to every day. Weston, I feel so sorry for Schalke. They've had some amazing players over the last couple of years.
They just can't tie it all together, though, can they?
They can't seem to keep them away and keep them together. It is a fantastic club, sadly. Yeah, Everton, he's had talks have taken place. Weston's a fantastic midfield player, box-to-box player. He's physically very strong, good in the air, despite his height, because he's only small. Since the restart, he's been undoubtedly Schalke's best player by a mile. And after Pulisic, he's like the one who's loved in the States by all of the football people over there. He's come out that he wants to work with Ancelotti. He's just got this thing about Ancelotti, I've been told. The thing is now, it'd be great if Ramsey goes to Everton and McKinney, and then they can have a partnership, because that would definitely take Everton up a level. I tell you, that would be it. See that, and I think Ancelotti's been waiting for this. I think he's been waiting to get those two special players, and these two players. If Ramsey's still got it in him, which we can only wait and see, but Weston McKennie certainly has. But so Weston McKennie, 100% talks with Everton.
All right,
you can see why Gylfi Sigurdsson's being linked with Sheffield United now, can't you?
This
exactly.
is a magic
domino effect.
It is. It's a domino effect. That's just making me smile, because these are all.
I've got another exclusive though for you. I told about. I've got another.
So I didn't know Gylfi was linked. So it just shows you how it. We're not playing games here, people.
This is what I mean.
That's the first I've heard of it from Simon.
Yeah,
and it just go. It just,
yeah, and what I want to say, people, is look. There's people out there that are giving you information, early information, yeah, for the love of the game, for your benefit, for whoever's benefit, yeah. Sometimes people get things wrong. Sometimes the source gets the information wrong. Sometimes, as in life, circumstances change. Don't harrow and dig out that person and call them a liar and this and berate them, because you'll get no news. Asking them for sources, if they tell you your source, what are you going to do? Bug the source. Say that source is nothing. You've seen our sources when we gave you the Thomas Partey story and you told us that he only has a certain amount of followers. What kind of nonsense is that? And what?
Sorry, Samuel, I did pester you quite a bit.
And what's happened since then? What's happened since then? It's been clear that the Thomas Partey and Arsenal deal is a fact. It's 100% on. Now, we're not saying it's completed, it's a done deal. But what we're saying is we're out here working our asses off to give you all information. Yeah? And sometimes circumstances change. So just deal with it. But be patient.
Nine times out of 10 people, these top sources and people who you take notice of haven't got a lot of followers.
Yeah.
So try and take that bit away from you. Don't look for the look for the 500s, look for the 1,000. These are the people who are in the know. These are the sources. These are the people that are there for certain reasons, not for other means.
Exactly. And you wonder why we get our information? Because we make friends. We talk to them. And they're happy to give us information to give to you. Do you know what I mean? So, and there's plenty more. It ain't going to stop here and it ain't going to stop right now. Next up, Inter Milan are considering making Alexis Sanchez loan deal permanent. It's going to cost them 20 million euros. Would you take it? I don't know. He's not really done anything in Inter Milan. But, I mean, he's serving a purpose for Conte. So, he's obviously happy with something. West Brom are interested in John Obi Mikel, as he's been released from his club in Turkey. He's now a free agent, so they could be West Brom bound. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang looks set to sign a new 3-year deal at Arsenal on 250 grand a week. Could this be over? Could this be the final talk? I think it is, people. Apparently, the doors have shut on Aubameyang. No one is interested in him. So he was standing out there, flaunting his stuff, shaking his booty, and no one wanted a piece. So, Arsenal, I think you've got your man. Next up, Lyon's highly rated midfielder is subject to interest from Arsenal. Osimhen, his name is. Check him out. Get to know him. He is an absolute baller. Highly regarded by our manager, Mikel Arteta, and Pep Guardiola, and many other clubs around Europe want him. But his first choice is Real Madrid. The interest is real. Arsenal are interested in Osimhen, but his first choice is not Arsenal. But it's not bad. It's not bad to be second choice to Real Madrid. I mean, it could be worse.
We can actually confirm as well. He has Guendouzi has been offered as a swap as well. We can confirm that.
Sorry.
We can confirm that.
There's so much information just flying about.
It is literally.
It's hard to take it in. Wolves will not budge on their 100 million euro valuation of Mexican striker Raul Jimenez. There's been interest from Juventus, and as I said before, Juventus are willing to offer 2 players for Raul Jimenez, but they're saying they will not budge on it. That also goes for Amada Traore. They valued him before the COVID at 150 million. So it's probably come down. It's probably come down, but not by that much. And Wolves have come out and said, we don't need to sell. We've got money. If you want to buy our players, you can buy them at our price. Otherwise, they're staying at our club. And you can't knock that at all. Another big one, Hakimi. Ashraf Hakimi has officially joined Inter Milan. That is a great signing for Inter Milan. Inter Milan are doing very good with their signing so far since Conte's been in. I can seriously see them pushing for the league next season. Conte, as you've seen when he was the Premier League manager of Chelsea, is a very, very astute manager. And you can see his time already in Milan that he's putting in a structure there that is taking them forward, and he's bringing in some very good players.
One thing on this. I can't believe Real Madrid have actually let this guy go.
Yeah,
he's 21 years old, and Real Madrid ain't the youngest squads. That are about.
Barcelona and Real Madrid have aging squads, but the thing is, what
incredible player.
Yeah, what baffles me here, Steve, is Real Madrid kind of have a team ready to sort of start slowly spoon feeding into the first team from their second team. Like they've got the likes of Rainier Jesus. They've got Rodrigo, who's just come through into the first team. They've got They've got players in their team, players out on loan that can come in now and take that spot, and they're selling them off. But it just shows
nothing. 36 million.
It shows how much they need the money. They need the money. Real Madrid need money, and Real Madrid cannot go a season without buying in players. So where are they going to get that money from? They have to go and sell their players. They have to bring in a big name. Otherwise, the fans aren't going to be happy. The fans will not be happy. Steve, can we get an update on Alcantara to Liverpool? He's held talks with Liverpool, hasn't he?
Yes, but there's the price again. There's the price. Liverpool have got the only way Liverpool can get Alcantara, right? They've said they could have him. Alcantara said he'll come, right? But they've said you've got to pay 70 million to for him to come there. And then it all goes quiet.
Yeah. So
unless, like Simon said, I've got to stop saying that, because every time I say Simon said,
touch your nose.
I always keep putting my hand on my head, something like that. Yeah. But like Simon said the other week about Liverpool selling Firmino.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. If they're going to get Alcantara and sell Firmino, that's the only way I can see anything happening as far as Alcantara going to Liverpool. Otherwise, I just can't. Nothing makes any.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit into any holes.
Yeah, it don't. Liverpool couldn't afford Timo Werner for 50 million. Then they couldn't afford Osimhen Dembele on a 2-year loan or a year loan. Now they're going for Alcantara, who's kind of pushing for a move. It's kind of a soft push, but you've still got the money. And Bayern Munich have turned around and said, and are not happy. They're not happy that the player is doing a kind of an edge push out of the club and saying he only wants to go to Liverpool, and you've not got the money to front it up. So what are you going to do?
Well, everyone's been talking on social media. I'm the only one that mentioned it, and I'm the only one that's not said anything because I've saved it for tonight. And I'll tell you now, he hasn't even started talks with Liverpool. So all this rubbish, it's nearly done. He's agreed personal terms. No, he hasn't. Because the same person that told me about my German stuff with Sancho, which I've already proved has been backed up, has told me the same thing, that he hasn't even started talks. He likes Liverpool. He loves Anfield. He loves the Champions League when he plays at Anfield. But he's still in talks with Bayern Munich of a new deal. But Bayern are not offering him what he wants. Liverpool can come in for him, but Liverpool haven't even started conversations with him. So all these people, sport, YouTube channels, it's done, it's agreed, personal terms. Rubbish. Go find your own source and you'll understand the sort of stuff where it comes from.
Klopp's already more or less come out and said, I'm skint. In not so many words, I haven't got the money. He's literally said, I'm bringing youths in, I'm bringing Curtis in, so he can, because I can't keep going and spend money. We don't need to spend money. Come on, Kieran, I need you to impress you, mate.
No. I haven't heard Klopp's voice for a few days now, so I won't be able to do it anyway. It'd be awful.
But honestly, you read what you read, you hear what you hear, you see what you see, and there's nothing in there that all Klopp just keeps coming out with. Is that not in so many words, but if you've got a brain, you can easily tell that he's saying, look, we ain't got no money. You know, we certainly ain't got 72 million to go and buy Alcantara, that's for sure.
Thank you very much. So we shut that one down. This is Alcantara trying to play games to try and get more money in his contract, and it ain't working.
Mm-hmm.
We've got an exclusive here today, boys and girls. Jack Grealish, Aston Villa.
What?
Aston Villa hero, we call him, yeah? Jack Grealish has had, well, I won't say talks. Arsenal put out the feelers on Jack Grealish, and it came back positive. We all know about the rumours with Jack Grealish and Manchester United, and the fact that Tim Sherwood, second-hand car salesman Tim Sherwood, yeah, says,
well, I used to be a second-hand car salesman.
It's almost done. He said, job done, mate. Get it in the bag. It's not job done because the feelers were put out to Jack Grealish's representatives, and he would happily join Arsenal as well. Arsenal are rumoured to be potentially hoping that Aston Villa get relegated so they can get him for around 40 million, and the price for if he stays up is around 60 million. So
we didn't believe it though, did we? We didn't believe it, so we did some research, and then we all found out it's 100% legit.
Yeah, do you know what? On this year, I'm not even in a headspace of not believe anymore. It's you just got to do your due diligence. You just got to look about. You just research. When you hear something, you just look a bit deeper, and that's where we're all in the mindset now of we find something, we look for some sort.
Is he an Arsenal player though?
He loves the Emirates, doesn't he? He put it on Instagram, if you can remember. Best ground in the Premier League. Loves playing there.
Does he come across to you as an Arsenal player?
Not to me.
He reminds me.
He's an upgrade on Ozil.
He reminds me of a bit like Jack Wilshere.
I don't see him in that red and white shirt. You know, sometimes you just picture an Arsenal player in a red and white shirt, and you just see him, and you just.
I know what you mean. But I see him as a Jack Wilshere kind of player. Whether it'd be that box to box or whether it'd be at number 10, I think potentially you'd probably see him more as I don't know. I think you might see him more in a deeper role if he was to go to Arsenal.
Like a Sibelius type.
Yeah, I think you'd probably get him more on the ball as opposed to in that number 10 position. I don't know, but it's an option. I don't think it's Arsenal's first choice either. I think it's just an option. I think Osimhen is definitely more of an option that's up there, especially in that number 10 role. And
that midfielder from Lille as well, next to Partey.
We haven't revealed that one yet. That one's coming up soon. Don't worry about that. Arsenal, I might as well say it now. Arsenal also looking at Babakayo Samari. Go on, Simon. Tell the story. Newcastle also put in a bid as well.
Newcastle put a bid in on January, just gone, basically. A 45 million. Their record signing they were going to make him. Didn't even entertain it. He didn't even entertain it. Turned it down flat straight.
Was this the player or Lille? Because Lille need that money.
No, the player. Lille accepted it.
Okay.
Lille accepted it, but the player turned it down because he didn't want to move mid-season. He wanted to stay till the end of the season with Lille, and then he wanted to weigh up his options, basically, in the summer window. But obviously with the coronavirus, he'll wait up now in this transfer window. So that's what he wants to do. Arsenal have been long-time admirers of him. Yeah. We made a move in January, but we got turned down as well. Okay. But he didn't turn us down flat. He just said he wasn't going to move mid-season. And that's the same with Thomas Partey. He wasn't going to move mid-season either. He wanted to stay till the end of the season. So I'd watch these two names, basically, because they could be potentially either with Xhaka or Torreira and Xhaka out for these two. Just saying.
All right. So we've got 3 more transfers. Next up,
I've got one more.
Pierre-Emile Højbjerg of Southampton has potentially he's close to signing for Tottenham. We revealed it the other day, and it's close. By now, it's probably done. It was a transfer that Jose Mourinho had earmarked as a pivotal figure in his team early doors, and it looks like he's on his way to Tottenham. Ivan Toney. Was there any update on Ivan Toney? I think there's no update on Ivan Toney just yet. But
no, not yet.
We're
no, there is. There is.
There is an update. I didn't see you shake your head there, Steve. Go on. Go on. Give us an update. I'm waiting.
This signing is for me like bigger than Havertz or any of the big Sanchos. Like this is mostly really interesting for me. He's 1 minute he's in the press saying one thing on broadsheets, and then I'm being told another by sources I know.
Yeah.
In the last couple of days, the press have been saying how Rangers and Celtic heavily like now pursuing Toney, but they only want to pay $5 million for him, which for me is taking the mickey for a guy who scored 26 goals this season
and has a sell-on fee as well, doesn't he?
15 million. Yeah, 15 they want, and he scored 49 goals in 94 matches. I've been told that he's had talks with Watford. Bournemouth are now out of the question because they can't afford him, which Bournemouth was the original one. But Watford and Brighton are now the only two teams that are interested in. Reason why the chairman of Peterborough has came out and said we want 15 million, and the only clubs that can afford 15 million are Premiership clubs. So and that's where he wants to go to. So you look at Watford, they haven't really got a forward. You look at Brighton, they might be struggling.
They need a forward.
They need a forward. So yeah. It's a bit. Speaking to the guy today, the same names keep coming up, but the news is forget he's not going to Scotland, because that's everything you've seen in the papers is the fact that he's going to Scotland. I've been told he's definitely not going to Scotland. He's a home boy, and he's not going out playing Scotland. And because the guy that I speak to used to manage him, and so and Peterborough want 15 million, so it all points to the Premiership, and he wants to play in the Premiership. So I'm just telling people who are interested that you're seeing Celtic, you're seeing Gerrard and Rangers pictured in all the papers, but he's definitely not going there.
Thank you very much for the update. And the final one, the one that sent Twitter going crazy this week, Upamecano to Arsenal. Arsenal have held talks with Upamecano's representatives. The talks were positive, and it's happened over the last couple of weeks. I'm pretty sure it was. They've had a couple of meetings, and yeah, it looks good at the moment. But that doesn't rule out any other club coming in for him. That doesn't rule out a team in the Champions League, so a team that offers him all the money in the world and week in, week out football. That doesn't rule that out. Coming in now, between now and the start of the transfer window, and taking him away. So just because Arsenal are in a good place with Upamecano right now, and it looks like they're in pole position, anything can change in football. And
I spoke to the source. I spoke to the source who gave me. I mean, I think Simon spoke to someone, and as well. The person who I spoke to today, who gave me basically the same thing as Simon. We had the same thing said to us. Was that there's no news at the moment. Yeah. It's still how it is. So it just shows you people. So it just shows you people that if there's no news, we can't give you no news. So at the moment, it's still the same as it was last week. It's positive.
But the reason why I'm bringing it up now, people, is because you may not have heard it. So there's people out there that we're privy to it. So when we're hearing Thomas Partey, when we're hearing Upamecano, we're like, yeah, there's nothing moved on that. But there's people out there who are like, what? Arsenal talking to Thomas Partey? What? Like there's people that just won't have a clue on these things. So yeah, we're bringing it to you now. Arsenal, the Thomas Partey rumours are not rumours; they're true. But it's way off. Like the deal, it's way off. There's a lot of work to do on it. So just relax on that and start pestering people that have given you that news and ask them if there's any updates. Because one thing I will say as well, sorry people, is class. Certain teams handle themselves in different ways. Certain teams' transfers will be branded in the newspapers, people telling people that they've put bids in, and the players coming in. These are all things that are done on purpose to appease the fans, to make sure the fans are happy. But you're dealing with other clubs and businessmen. And if you're going to wind up these business people, then you're not going to get good business done. As we said, look at Liverpool trying to get Alcantara. Look at Man United trying to get Sancho. You've gone into a meeting and said you're doing one thing. You come out of that meeting and you've gone, you pay more than 50 million for joining Sancho. And now the German, the Bayern Munich are annoyed. And that's not going to help with any business relations whatsoever, now or in the future. So, like I said, the seasons are still ongoing. Atletico Madrid are still in the Champions League. Leipzig are still in the Champions League. Yes, Timo Werner decided to say that he was joining Chelsea and announce it, but that is tacky. German fans didn't like that. All German fans. Leipzig fans did not like that. So when you're asking that player to reveal that he's going to another club when he's still contracted to that club, the fans don't like it. So you wouldn't like it if a player at your club was announcing or calling to be announced to play for some other club. Like, it's just, so you've got to understand, relax and be patient and stop asking these people every day whether there's any update. All right. Simon,
my last exclusive then.
Go on.
It's gonna shatter Arsenal fans' hearts, trust me.
Go on.
The person that I've been speaking to as well, who brought me some more news that I've told you about tonight. I told this on Wednesday at 5:00. And I've not told anyone. I ain't told you, Kieran. I ain't told Steve. I've told no one. I've kept it to myself because I'll save it for this. Leeds United have started discussions with Celtic striker Odsonne Edouard.
That's a great signing. No way.
It's no joke. It'll hit the newspapers, I'm guessing, one day next week. But this person's told me 100% that Edouard has given his okay to Leeds United because he doesn't think Arsenal are coming in for him. So there you go.
You held this from Wednesday?
Yep.
You fucking held this from Wednesday?
Yep, sorry, boss. So exclusive, isn't it?
That's going up on the page today.
And you've got to think as well, right? With Leeds United, if they win the championship, obviously the money that they get from that. Look at Leeds' squad. Their midfield, watch when they played against us. They coped with the players that we had. So they can afford, they're not getting rid of, what's his name?
Bamford.
Yeah, they're not getting rid of him. They want him. They want to play as a 4-4-2, which is what they played against us. But they've only got one striker and one striker that's on loan. But Leeds United are willing to pay, I think it's up to 25 to 30 million for this guy. And Celtic are happy to accept.
All right, there we go. It's another exclusive. Once again, Simon loves to leave it to the end, just so he makes sure that everyone who's watching not only waits till the end to watch the transfer roundup, also waits to the end, like Simon's end, to then give you one more bit of news before I press the end broadcast button. Two transfers that definitely won't be happening anytime soon or ever is these two absolute gems right here. Simon the Chef and Steve K, Chief Scout and like I said, the Chef.
Because I didn't tell him that Leeds news and Celtic, this is my last appearance on the show.
No, it ain't. Not unless.
Because I didn't tell him.
Not if you don't value. If you value your life, you will carry on working for me.
I heard the voice message. I'm coming up to Sheffield for you.
Yeah, please. That's the end of the show, and what a show it was. This is the longest show we've gone on for. We've gone on an hour and 40 minutes. This is fuming.
Yeah, but man, is it all? Who's going to watch a film tonight?
Good luck with that one. You've got your debrief for a good hour and a half now.
But no chance.
I'd like to thank our regulars. Thank you very much, Steve. Say goodbye to everyone. There you go.
Thanks for everyone for joining us tonight. Cheers. Have a good night.
And the chef, the man with the exclusives at the moment, he's cooking on gas right now. Well done, Simon. Thank you very much.
One thing I will say, right, when you and Steve are doing all this, reaching out to people, and I think I thought I couldn't do it because I wouldn't know how to go about it. And because what you two have told me, and I've gone out and done it myself, I can't believe how easy it actually is. Just be yourself. Just don't try and fob yourself as, oh, I'm one of these guys that knows everything.
No,
I would just up front. I would just up front.
And we never do.
No.
We never try and tell people. We're not ITKs. We're not. We're researchers.
We're not.
If anything, we're researchers. We research. We talk to people. We make friends. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Right?
Dream killers.
And they're telling us their deepest and darkest secrets.
Sadly, we are dream killers sometimes.
We are. We're dream killers.
Sometimes.
We are, but we're also dream makers.
But we do love you at the same time. So.
Oh, thank you. Are you talking about me? You're talking about the viewers.
I'm talking about the viewers, mate.
Oh, fuck yeah.
We love you too.
Taking you off my Christmas card list, you bastard. Thank you very much who signed in. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much if you watch afterwards. Watch afterwards. Do whatever. Share, like, subscribe. Go and follow these two. Where are they quickly before we go? Follow these three.
Put players in the comments you want us to watch or want us to go and see. And we'll do it.
Yeah, if you want to find out about players, look, Simon's giving us more work to do. Love that, sir.
If you're worried about a player that's leaving or you're wondering if a player that's coming, just drop us something.
Do you know what? This feels like it's part of the ending of the show now. Like everyone says their own bit. Bloody hell. Didn't tell me about it.
Put it like that. Take him off.
Yeah, everyone's going laters. Peace out. Stay safe. Chance. Goodbye. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Go and follow these two free absolute gems. Thank you very much. Take care. Laters. Peace out. Stay safe. Wash your hands.